Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy 2021. Um, it has been a long year. 2020, we had a lot of challenges and trials. But I like what somebody said. He said, what I got out of 2020 was tools to get by, tools to survive. I personally think we need those tools moving forward. It was just God's way of preparing us for the worst. So buckle up, people. It's about to get down. We really need to get our act together. We need to strengthen our backbones, because this was just the first test. It's just getting worse from now on. I believe that we are heading towards a time where evil and bad people will show themselves to be good, and they will do extraneous things to get us there. They will chop and change things. They will pressure. They will do anything possible to us for personal gain, which leads us to what I want us to speak about today. I want us to speak about this issue of, I call it the buy and sell. What this whole issue is about control. Ultimately, the one that controls everyone and everything is the winner in this life. He gets to be called God. So this whole battle is about control. It is about how much hold, how much control, how much power do I have over everyone else, so that whatever I dictate gets to be done successfully and I get to reap the highest benefits from it. So what we're seeing is not something new. It's something that has always been there, where man exploits what God has provided for his own benefit, thinking that he will be God. As we Christians know from the beginning, it was always spelled out that the devil is saying, you will be God. So in a way, man is still chasing after the dream of being a God. And for him to be a God, he needs to make sure that he controls everything, because God is ultimately the controller of the universe. So if man can control everything, then man will be able to get worshipped, or at least he'll be able to get things done his way whenever and however he wants. So this is ultimately an issue of control. But how he goes about it is that he controls what we all consider most important, the economy. If you can control the economy, which in this case would be the buy and sell, if you can control the buying and the selling of things, then you are the ultimate controller in this life. If you can dictate how the economy shuts down and how the economy gets up, how the economy benefits you, and how it generates whatever for whatever, then you are the ultimate God. You are the one to be controlled, because nobody wants to go to sleep hungry. No one wants to stay without electricity. No one wants to stay without water. So if you create an agenda that will ultimately put you in a very good position of control, then you're in for a good ride. So what we're seeing now is that over time, man has been developing, or at least trying to sway the way the economy works to a central point, which in this case they would want to call it globalization. So globalization has become the thing. Everyone is just trying to centralize the resources of the world, with the idea that it will benefit everyone if we pool our resources together and then use them wisely. The idea is that we stand a very good chance of benefiting as a whole. But what if there's an ulterior or alternative agenda, someone wanting to centralize not for everybody's benefit, but for a personal benefit, which would be capitalization at its highest point, really, where one individual or one set of individuals are globalizing for personal gain because they have the power. They are the ones that are ultimately moneyed. So what do? Get them into debt, get them into practices that will cost them a lot of money, get them running and going to gyms. If you have to put viruses in there, just destroy their health so that they will get into debt trying to get their health back. It's more like create a need for the market and then bring the solution and sell back to the market. So it's a very sick way that a man does to get control. First bring in the guns, destroy, or at least cause the civil war, and then come up with a solution to that and bring it back to the same people to say, here, take, this will be your salvation. So we have man doing that, but man is doing it using a number of bodies, banks, organizations, international organizations. The strategy is the same. It's just men trying to take control. And they do that by making sure that they pool the resources together. They globalize everything. So the agenda is to globalize. But for that to happen, everyone needs to understand why globalization is important. For globalization to be important, the need has to be created. So where there's resistance, there has to be civil wars. Where there's healthy people, there has to be viruses and unhealthy situations. Where people seem to be thriving economically, there has to be some sort of degradation for that. The economy has to be killed so that it is saved. So relief is provided. So when that happens, then man looks like the savior. Man looks like the one that needs to be worshipped. And then globalization starts to make sense. If all the laws of the world are aligned to one, because you can't globalize if people are trading at different regulations, there will be barriers, there will be issues of economical dysfunctions because there are no synergies, there are no alignments. So the idea is to align everything so that everything flows and the economy is controlled at one point. So that is what globalization is ultimately trying to do. Control the buy and sell so that ultimately the people that are in debt are indebted to you. But the only solution to the problem then becomes God. I know some of us are not Christian, but for us Christians, dependency or trust or faith or our being is not dependent on food that we eat or the things that we get out of this world. That Christianity teaches us that without Christ we are nothing. It teaches us that it is God that created everything. It is God that makes all kinds of provisions. So if people keep working and thinking that life comes from their wages, they come from their salaries, they come from their businesses, and they're not aware that it is God that makes all things possible, then their dependency will be on their jobs, their dependency will be on their churches or wherever they think life comes from. But we Christians know that life comes from Jesus. It comes from God. It is He that provides all things. And towards the end, we will be seeing a lot of that coming through. Real Christians depending more on God. And those that are not Christians, sorry for being like this, but it has to happen, it has to be said. For those that are Christians, they'll become more dependent on the worldly system. So now we'll have two systems where people are either in God or they are in the world. So then you'd have to choose who you worship, I guess. At the end of the day, that's what's going to happen. So, people, this is just my point of view. Think about it. We're moving to a very dangerous time. Buckle up. It's gonna be a mess. But Jesus is there. If you want him, pick him up. He's always there knocking at your door. Open up and just let him in. He's gonna feed you. There'll be ravens coming your way because hey, it looks like it's gonna be a mess. This is just my point of view. T signing out.